I want to thank you for watching this episode of Press Pass, where we take a look at some of the live shows from some of your favorite artists and critique them on a round of applause basis, 1 to 5, 5 being the best. My name is Calvin and I'm a photographer, but here's some of my latest work with my guy X.A.E, Dedication.
I go hard in the paint with this rap shit. Real hard. I take it real serious. I take every single thing I do, every word, every letter, every sentence, every phrase, every quote, every chorus, every verse, every bridge, every intro, every outro. Personal.
Yeah. On this episode of Press Pass, we're doing it a little different. We were at the 97.9 The Beat car show. Now, if you're not familiar, 97.9 The Beat is the local hip-hop and R&B station, or one of them anyway, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, every year they do put on the Dub Car Show, where they bring out some of the flyest cars, flyest women, and then, of course, they put on a dope concert. This is actually one of the events that I look forward to every year. We'll start with the venue, the Dallas Convention Center. If you've been to any convention center for any city, you know that it's a huge place, many rooms. They really take advantage of this space. They need it, of course, when you have a ton of cars. I like it. They usually make it easy to find, which is very good for something of this magnitude, and they usually pack it out every year, like every year.
Blowing up the phone, she see me calling up. I whip up in the drive and she done take up all my stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? Even if she go, even if she go, even if she go, I'm a classic man.
They always have tight security. Tight security, you know, I like that. Also, they have the Dallas PD on site. This year, they had the gang unit on there. I'm not sure what was going on, but they were definitely in effect. Now, they do have some of the dopest lighting. Every year, they actually go above and beyond, in my opinion, to have some of the dopest lighting that you can have at a concert. Very well lit for anybody to see. All right, so next we have the promoter, as stated. 97.9 The Beat is the main promoter for this, not the only sponsor, of course, but the main promoter in the city for this event. And one thing that I do like, every year they start promptly, on time. It's an early event, starts at around 11, doors may open at 11 and it'll go to around 6. Now, one of my dislikes for this particular show, I won't say necessarily it was a dislike, it was more of a preference thing. They have this runway stage. Now they do this every year. They have the runway stage, and it's just, for me, I feel like it doesn't give the chance for the artist to really put on a good show and work the crowd as much. Now we can take a look at some of the extras from this particular show. So as stated, it's a car show, plenty of cars, plenty of beautiful women, as previously stated, but they also had a lot of vendors, and those vendors actually ranged. You had your AIDS awareness for those who want to get tested. You had your fake Gucci and designer things over here, just in case you wanted to engage in some of those festivities. Hell, you could even sign up for the Marines if that's what you wanted to do. I don't know why anybody at this show would be looking to sign up for the Marines, but it was there. Another extra that occurred at this particular show, Lil Flip was there. He wasn't performing or anything, just happened to be in the crowd. I happened to meet Lil Flip a couple of years back, did a video with him. We shot that down in Austin. You can actually go to the playlist on my page and check that video out with Linux Music. Shout out to that. Another dope thing that happened at this particular show, Lil Snoop's mom was actually brought out on stage. If you're not familiar, Lil Snoop was an up-and-coming artist coming up under Dream Chasers and Meek Mill. He was killed in an untimely death. May he rest in peace. They did bring his mama out to pay tribute to him.
Daddy wagon, cuffs locked on wrist. Six of my dreams unfold. Nightmares come true. It was time to marry the game, and I said, yeah, I do. If If you want it, you gotta see it with a clear eye view. Got shorty, she trying to bless me like she said I too. Like a boy squeeze, nigga, please for the.
She's definitely keeping his name alive. Another thing that seemed to happen way too much at this show, I'm not sure how, but children kept coming up missing from their parents. I'm not sure what was going on, but I feel like every other act, they were bringing a kid on stage to tell their parents, hey, I have your child, you need to come get them.
Get your ass over here.
Where you at?
All right, that's basically all I gotta say, right?
Okay.
Because if your name is Samantha, over here.
Yeah.
If you came with someone that ain't with you right now, and it ain't your fault, he got away.
97.9 The Beat does a really great job of having a wide range of artists to perform at this particular show every year. Something that keeps me coming back. Now, our first performer was a gentleman by the name of Camp Zero. He came out, never heard of him, I won't lie. Had a lot of designer stuff on. It really wasn't until after the show that I noticed that people were kind of bringing his name up. Not really familiar with his music. I think he is a native of Dallas. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The next act, a guy by the name of Flexin Fab. He seems to be growing a buzz around the North Texas area. I'm not familiar with his music either. For me, he kind of fell into the category of a lot of the other rappers that are coming up out of, like, I guess the Atlanta area, the Lils, as some would say. But like I said, he is getting a slight buzz. I've heard him on the radio. I've seen him, you know, come across my Instagram feed a time or two. I think he has some backing from one of the DJs from the radio station as well. So, you know, that doesn't hurt at all, at all. Now, on his particular set here, he was the first one to actually go out and, you know, associate with the crowd behind the VIP section. If you could take a look here, I was going to chase him all over the place, but he was like all over the place, and I wasn't gonna chase him. I don't even know why I was lying to myself. So yeah, Flexin Fab. Now our next act, a guy by the name of Mikey McFly. This nigga was tripping. He comes out in the robe and doesn't have anything on but drawers. Now I'm not sure when this became like the thing to do. I've seen a lot of young artists, the Tekashi 6ix9ine. I think I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of these other kind of younger acts, and what they do is they come out on stage and nothing but they draws. I don't know why they think that's kind of like the thing to do. I ain't with that. You shouldn't have to do that to promote your music, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Now, McFly, he does have a lot of energy, so he's definitely going to bring it every time. Don't get it twisted. Like I said, he had nothing but his drawers on under the robe, but the robe itself was pretty fly. I will give him that. Brought a lot of energy. So yeah, Mikey McFly, he's another local cat around the DFW area. I also think he may have some ties with the radio station. I know he does do a lot of work with Lil Ronny Motha F. Mr. Throw That Ass in the Circle. Our next act is another guy out of the DFW area, Dallas, Mo3. Now, Mo3 is one of my favorite artists out of Dallas, hands down. He has that kind of R&B, hood, rapping thing going on, but he kills it. He makes some of the dopest music out of the city, hands down, in my opinion. But this was probably my second time seeing him perform live. He gets a whole lot of love every time. This time was no different. He also went out into the crowd, engaged with them a little bit, and they loved him. It was amazing to see, like, a lot of those people reciting these words word for word. He had a lot of the female fan base, of course, with his particular style of music, but definitely non-stop. He had bangers, and I like Mo3. Now, our next act is someone who's well known around the DFW area and nationally. That's Lil Ronny Motha F. If you're not familiar, Throw That Ass in the Circle was his banger. New Year's resolution. If you haven't heard that, you might want to check him out. He gets a lot of the hometown love, and this time, of course, was no different.
Hey, I had to get to that money, nigga. Sing it with me, sing it with me. I had to get to that bottom. The 20 companies, the hardest nigga. Sing it with me, sing it with me. I had to get to them dollar. What you do?
He was the first one to actually bring his entourage out on stage, and I'll show you kind of just how that affects the rest of the show. Like I said, he didn't do too much moving back and forth because his entourage actually, you know, was blocking where he could go. But he did manage to get off stage, interact with the crowd, and that was good. The people showed him love. You could tell he was appreciative. I think I will say his hype man is hilarious. I don't know who that guy is. He was funny. He don't say much. Y'all take a look at him. Our next act, Bobby Sessions. He is another local act out of the DFW area who actually just signed a deal with Def Jam. Want to congratulate him on that. Making things happen, putting on for the city of Dallas. Definitely another hometown favorite. Now, Bobby Sessions does put on a dope set. The only thing that I would say, it was the same set pretty much from last year. I was expecting more, seeing how he had just came off the signing of that deal. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect the same thing. Our next act is a legend, a Houston legend, Lil Keke. Now this was my first time seeing Lil Keke live, so it was definitely an experience. I definitely enjoyed myself. It's good to see when a lot of the older acts are able to come back and still get crazy love. Texas really loved him, and it was actually funny seeing some of the younger kids who were Texas natives being able to rock with him and knowing some of the words to his songs. I thought that was pretty cool. Plus my man Made doing the South Side, and he performed that. I was done. That's all I needed to hear. Our next act is another person that some would say is a Houston legend, Paul Wall. Now Paul Wall's set was pretty interesting. It seemed like a lot of the people were really more excited to see him than necessarily hear the music. Now I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but nevertheless, Paul Wall's energy is just refreshing every time he comes out on stage. It's just, you know, he's excited to be there. You can tell, despite what the crowd's, you know, opinion of him may be. Like, I don't know, but it just feels like he really does have a good time on this stage every time. I enjoyed it. He played some of the classics, performed some of those classics that you love. Yeah, take a look at this one.
I'm dope, styrofoam cup full of ball. I'm dope, phone deep, my old school car. I'm dope, so get carried, banging the screw. The Iceman, baby, and you know what to do.
Now our next act, Dirty South Ryders, DSR for those who don't know, another Dallas act. It's always dope to see them because they really have some of the most respect that I've seen out of any local artist out of the DFW. When I say respect, I mean pure respect. If you ever been to Dallas and you've seen them perform Southside The Realest, no, they don't even have to perform it. If you've ever heard Southside's The Realest played at a spot anywhere in Dallas, speechless. I feel like that's how people from Dallas identify if someone's from Dallas. Now our next act, another Houston legend, Zero. Now honestly, Zero is one of the first artists that I ever shot. I was actually living in Oklahoma at the time, and he had came and performed. This is when I was still actually just doing videos solely. I really wasn't doing any photos, but I did a slight recap of that show. So it's always good when I'm able to see him because it always makes me think back to that time. Another Houston legend, I always like to compare him now that I'm here. I always say he was like Mo 3 before there was a Mo 3 really popping. You feel me? If you listen to Zero and you've heard Mo 3, then you kind of get where I'm coming from on that one. But nevertheless, he came out, he was shining. My nigga Zero, he's probably one of my favorite artists to shoot. Not because I like his music that much, but because he don't move a lot on stage. So I don't never have no blur in them pictures. Next act, another local DFW native, Dorrough. Now I've seen Dorrough perform a couple of times as well, one being at this particular event, the Dub Car Show. I think it may have been last year, honestly. Dorrough always comes out, he's going to perform his hits. Now I find it interesting how uninterested people kind of seem when Dorrough comes out to perform despite having these big hits. And despite how much energy he actually puts into the show, it's really, I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know if it's just been too long or if the city's just not receptive like that anymore. I don't know, but I definitely noticed it. Now, another thing that I thought during Dorrough's set that kind of threw me off, he brought Mo3 back out. I don't know why, and Mo3 actually did a wardrobe change. Check this out. One thing that I found funny about Dorrough's set as well is toward the end of it, he kind of started throwing out all of these accolades. You know, I'm the first to get gold. I'm the first to get a platinum record. I'm the only one that got a key to the city. Now, it's cool. That's definitely dope that, you know, he has that under his belt, but I found it weird that he just randomly started throwing that information out there. Our next act is one that's on the rise right now and continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger, I swear, by the week. Yella Beezy. Now, I ain't even gonna lie, Yella Beezy very well could have been the headlining act. He got so much love on this show. Every time I've seen him this year, he's gotten crazy amounts of love. That's On Me is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you haven't heard That's On Me, you late, and you might want to go check it out now. He really didn't have to do much on stage, despite having his entourage once again block him from doing too much extra moving and things like that. But like I said, he didn't really have to do a whole lot because the crowd was with him. The energy was all there. Our next act is somebody from my home state of Tennessee, Blocboy JB. Now, I gotta give it to him. This guy may have had the best entrance of the night. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna just be honest. When he's not doing this shoot dance, I'm lost. I don't know none of them words that he be talking about. But he got a lot of energy though, and the kids love him. He showed love to the crowd. He was out there interacting with them. They appreciated that. He is going through this legal battle, I believe, with Fortnite, trying to recover some funds for taking his dance. Now, I hope good and well he wins this lawsuit because it almost seems like his career and that dance go hand in hand. So without the dance, do we still have Blocboy JB? You let me know. You checking for Blocboy JB without the dance or not? Our next act is another guy from my home state of Tennessee. The craziest guy on the internet, in my opinion, Blac Youngsta. My man Blac Youngsta came out in this see-through raincoat jacket. I don't know what he had on. Then of course, you know, what would a Blac Youngsta set be without him performing Booty, right?
Make that big move. Make that big move. Can I touch that boy? That boy. That big old boy. Shake that boy.
Next, we have a familiar face to press past, Lil Baby.
That's my dog. That's my dog. Me and my dog. Say what? Me and my dog. Me and
It's
Now, yes, like I said, Lil Baby is definitely familiar with the show. If you go check out episode 3, we took a look at one of his acts when he came through here right before he actually went on his official tour, the Harder Than Ever tour. So if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, make sure you go on my page. I actually put the link in the description of this video, so make sure you go check that out. And last but not least, our headlining act, one of my favorite acts, Jeezy. I grew up on him, and I know what he brought to the game, what his music was to the game. It was actually pretty funny that a lot of the younger generation didn't know who Jeezy was, man. It was crazy. They was out there with their parents just kind of looking. They didn't know what Jeezy had going on. Who was this man with the bandana? But me? Nah, man, I was almost about to jump on stage. Nah, I'm just playing. I wasn't about to jump on that stage. But it was cool, though. I enjoyed Jeezy. He put on a good show. You actually forget how many hits Jeezy has until you actually see him live, and he just starts running them back to back to back. Once again, thank you for watching. This is episode 6 of the Press Pass. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that. I greatly appreciate you for watching. We're going to continue to get bigger. I got some things in the works. A lot of great shows coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. My name is Calvin, and this is Press Pass.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go!